but I figured, what the heck, I'm gonna give this one a shot, and just have the live stream up while I do some work on my tavern. So if anyone decides to pop in, feel free to ask a question, make a comment. Do so, whatever you like. Just be nice. So anyway, I'm going to try to pay attention to the screen as much as I can while I'm going to get to work on creating more false brick on the walls. I may pop in and out of frame every now and then. That's just the nature of the beast. And if you hear a loud rumbling sound, that's just my furnace running, because again, this is my basement. I'm not really expecting many to actually show up to chat. I figured I could also just use this as a regular video to show progress on the tavern itself. This may get dull at some point, but again, that's probably the nature of the beast. Just seeing maybe putting up tape to mark out what the brick is going to be. Now, I don't do a lot at one point. I probably do like maybe one roll of brick at a time, just because it's a bit of a tedious process, but, and here's the other tedious part, sometimes the tape doesn't want to behave. And there's also a lot of ripping and tearing involved, so I can get sort of a random uneven pattern. So then you get to improvise. If anyone does come on, one blame you only stayed on for a minute or a couple of minutes because you got bored. But good things come to those who wait. Once I get this roll of brick made up, I'm going to stop right away because it takes a while for the drywall plaster that I'm using to set and dry before I can pull the tape back off and do the texture work. I also noticed that the roll of tape starting to run out, so for long I'm gonna get a replacement one. Believe me, I wish the tape would cooperate a lot better than it does. But once again, it's the nature of the beast when you're doing projects like this. I'll try to keep this live stream short so that way YouTube doesn't get mad at me. That's also going to depend on how much this tape will behave, and how quickly I can get the plaster put up. Let me see how I'm gonna have this for 7.5 minutes already. This stream goes over 20 minutes. I'm just gonna shut it off, no matter where I'm at. Oh, I often don't try to do these live streams while actually working on the tavern. I might do more as I'm getting closer to these false brick walls being done. I try to do as random pattern as possible. That way they look like, lame, you know, quarry rock rather than finely carved stone, because just a tavern owner would have the money way back when to have the money to, find masoned stones. Even as masonry became easier and easier, you still had to be a big shot to have, precisely cut stone. especially since this tavern is supposed to represent one that I said in the previous video that doesn't exactly cater to the finest of clientele. This is meant for one of those back alley pubs, well, taverns, that caters to, your rogues, your bandits, the type of people you don't want to run into unless you're looking for trouble. Getting there, getting close. All right. Check out my time again. Whoop. Already almost 15 minutes gone. Now for the fun part. The dubbing of the drywall compound, or drywall plaster. This is just basic repair plaster that you can pick up just about anywhere. I get this at Menards personally because the 11% rebate makes it a little bit easier to buy this stuff in somewhat bulk. And I like the fact that this stuff changes color as it dries. It lets me know when to kind of a way for it letting me know when it's time to pull the tape off. And also kind of a warning about how much time I have to actually work it. If I'm going to go back and do like texture work while it's still mostly wet and pliable. But I actually just smear it on roughly. I'm not worried about going back to sanding it later. I just try to glob it on hopefully without removing the tape. So that way it gives that rough rock, on my attempt of giving it that rough rock look. Now, this is definitely going to run way, way over the time that I want to have the live stream up. And I understand why no one actually came on to this live stream just because, well, not that well known. I've only got like 216 subscribers altogether, and there's only a handful of people who know about this project and who actually care enough to give me tips, give me compliments, let me know how this stuff is going. I know later on they'll give me a comment once this video is posted to my channel. I'm sure they appreciate seeing the process of how I'm making this false brick. Let's see what the clock's at. I've still got a couple more minutes, so I'll just keep dabbing and talking. Later on, when the stuff is set and the entire wall is done, I'll definitely come back and give it a dirty stone paint job to make it look like it once was a well-known and well-respected establishment that had clearly gone downhill. One of my big problems is that while I'm working on this, sometimes the tape decides to play tricks on me. So I'm going to keep working on this row until it's completely filled in. And still a couple more minutes. Keep on. I'll keep at it yet. I'll keep at it. Now, someone who might not know the backstory of this whole thing, the reason why I'm making this tavern is to help with inspiration for a science fantasy story that I'm also writing that involves that eventually my hero might have to do dealings in a tavern of this sort of reputation. Matter of fact, I plan to write this tavern, my basement tavern, into the story itself. But that's after I actually finish it and I can actually describe it into the story properly. This is sort of a case of one hand washes the other. And also, actually doing something with this particular room in my house, which again I've said in the previous video, is just been sitting doing nothing. And also you can tell with the echo, it tends to give a bit of a headache every so often, just because the echo. Looks like we're coming right up on the 20-minute. So I am going to end the stream here. I'd like to thank my friends who, you know who you are, who encourage this project, who give me tips every so often, and also to my subscribers. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, possibly even subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I might actually schedule another live stream. But until then, this is Hellcat607 signing off.